This is a 3D printed copy of part of my own skull. It's pretty cool, right? I didn't make it myself. I'm not that weird. 6 years ago, I had half my face reconstructed after a car crash. And this is what they used as a guide when they were making me a new eye socket. After the operation, my surgeon asked me if I wanted to take it home with me. And well, who wouldn't say yes? I mean, it is about the only fun thing you can take home from something like that. Oh, here we go. This unfortunate young lady was involved in a road traffic accident. She was sitting in a stationary van when hit at speed by a lorry. She has a right-sided zygomatic orbital maxillary fracture with a large orbital floor defect that will require significant surgical intervention. Oh, don't worry, I know it's a lot to take in. Basically, it just means that the right side of my face got smashed up, all the bones around my eye socket shattered, damaging my sight. And that bloke driving the lorry probably just needed a good reminder of where his brake pedal was. It took me years to get my head around it, and years for my face to stop changing shape. I kept imagining I would wake up and it all would have been a nightmare. That I would roll over one morning and see my face back to normal in the reflection of my phone screen. Even after all the operations were done, I still expected to see a horror show when I looked in the mirror. Right cheek caved in, flesh peeled back, teeth knocked out, eye hanging by the thread on my cheek. But it was just a face. A fairly normal face that looked very similar to my old face, but different. Different in a way that jolted my brain. And somehow that was worse than all the blood and the gore. This was the face that made my body heave and shake. Because this was a face that I recognised. But I didn't recognise it as me. It was a face that made people say, "You look just like you always did. Like you're back to normal again." But how can I be back to normal when it feels so abnormal it makes my eyes roll back in my skull? But you can't say that. Not when someone thinks that what they're saying is so nice and kind and just what you need to hear. So instead, you push it inwards. I mean, if no one else sees the problem, is there really one there? The self-loathing increases. The eye contact evaporates. The constant questions become shouts of why me? Why this? What did I do to deserve having to live like this? To escape. I like to imagine that there was another me out there, in an alternate universe, where the crash never happened and she just carried on with life, aging normally but looking the way that I was always intended to look. She was so strong, so self-assured, so beautiful. Her eyes didn't point in different directions when she looked down at her shoes. She was everything I desperately wanted to be. She was normal. I started covering up the right side of my face with my thumb when I looked at it in photos, so that I could see what she would look like. What I should have looked like. She would look prettier than me eating lunch with her friends. That outfit wouldn't have looked so bad if the face was better. That man wouldn't have pressed his face up against the glass in the train station to stare at her scars. No one would talk to her like she was stupid, just because it was taking her too long to read the labels in a shop. She would be thriving, not just surviving. Live, laugh, loving instead of hiding in the dark. She would be normal. It was self-torture. Every photo, every mirror would become an opportunity to see what I was missing. See how much better her face would look if she was standing in my shoes. I would have given anything to be standing in hers. Anything, literally. I used to think about what proportion of my own arm or leg I would give up to go back to normal again. Which is just really messed up. And actually, totally illogical when you think about it right. I wish I could tell you that there was a huge, life-changing, catalytic moment of rebirth when I stopped thinking like this? Truthfully, it happened so gradually, I can't remember at all. Over time, the grief of losing my own face it wasn't so overwhelming anymore. Over the years, the swelling went down. My new sight became normal to me. I stopped examining every crevice of my new cheekbone when I passed it in a mirror, and covering up half my face to see how I should have looked. I do still think about her sometimes. Her life, her face. Sometimes, if I'm very tired, just for a second I find myself still expecting to see her instead of my own reflection. But I don't mind anymore when I only see me. Just me. Because now I know that we're both just me. You see? Together. The crash didn't split us. It just changed me. I have one life. It's all connected. One ever-growing, ever-changing, ever-healing face. And I can live with that.